What's going on? This is the Denning Podcast. My name is Jake Denning. On this episode, I speak with Danny Stevens, who you might recall from a band called The Audition back in the day on Victory Records. They dropped 4 albums and an EP before calling it a day. And Danny's out in Nashville now, and he's doing a country singer-songwriter project and has a new single, Better Than You Left Me, which is out across all streaming platforms. We had a great time. We talked for a little over an hour, and it was really fun kind of catching up and seeing what he's been up to these days. If you enjoyed the audition or are just looking for some new music to vibe out to, this is definitely up your alley. But before we get into all that, I got to tell you about SeatGeek, who are offering first-time users $20 off by using promo code Denning at checkout. Again, that is Denning at checkout for $20 off your first-time order. Also, the fine people at Email's Not Dead, Gavin, Matt, they're offering you 20% off your order with the code Denning20 at checkout. Again, Denning20 at checkout to emailsnotdead.com for 20% off your order. And with that said, this is my chat with Danny Stevens.
What's up, dude?
How's Nashville?
Fucking cold today, dude.
For real?
Cold. Yeah, it was. The wind chill was like 8. It was like 27 degrees, and we had my wife was just telling me we had big gusty winds, and it felt like 8 degrees today.
Are we talking like Nashville proper, or like more like the Franklin area?
So I live in Pegram, Tennessee.
Okay.
Which I lived in Nashville for 10 years, and I hit my 10th year this month or last month, but I was there for 9.5 years. I was in Nashville, and my wife and I made the move out to Pegram, but we're like 20 minutes from downtown, like the very next city we're the county over from Nashville. So
yeah, it's like a 30-minute driver.
Yeah, pretty much. To get downtown, it takes me like 20 minutes. Same as we used to live by the zoo, and it takes the same amount of time to get there. So, but it's nice, man. But yeah, it was fucking cold out today.
I mean, and the real estate, in Nashville is like insane. So.
Oh man, yeah, everything out here is so expensive, dude. It's so different from when I moved here. It's like it looks different. It's a totally different place than I moved to, 10 years ago. It's really, really weird.
Right. No, everyone wants to move to Tennessee. It's beautiful out there. It's like Oregon, but Southern fried.
Yeah, a little. The weather's too. The summers here are brutal. Where are you based out of?
Just south of Portland.
South of Portland. Okay, so yeah, I would take your weather over this weather. The dreariness can be maybe a little tough.
Yeah, Tennessee, you have trees, you have trails. You got like a good music scene down there. Good.
Our backyard, we live like up this, probably like 300 yards up this big hill. And we're just this house on the hill with no neighbors and nothing, dude. Just peace and serenity and nature. And this autumn was incredible out here, dude. Our backyard looked like it was like on fire with all the leaves changing, man. It was awesome.
That's a pretty penny to pay though.
Yeah, well.
Real estate like down there is like what, like $500,000?
Well, it all depends on location, and there's a lot of variables, but it is not cheap to live here by any means. No, it's doubled since I've moved here. There was houses in East Nashville that you could rent for like a 5-bedroom for $2,500 in 2014. Same house, no renovations, nothing done to it. It goes for $5,000 a month now.
That's insane. That is insane.
It's either that or like it's being Airbnb'd, which is another reason our real estate is so expensive, is because when COVID hit, our housing market exploded, and these private, like these venture capitalists came in and like bought up all the real estate because they saw an opportunity to make money with Airbnb.
Right.
So they bought all of these real estate opportunities, and a lot of them they tore them down, and then they built 4 or 5 or 6 homes sometimes on a single lot where there used to be one home. And it really kind of messed us up, man. We've been in an identity crisis for a long time, I think. And I think it started like shortly after I moved here, as soon as we started growing, we don't really know what we are anymore. We're not Music City. I mean, yeah, music comes out of here, but it's something else. It's not. It's different now. You know, it's weird.
I forgot,
super weird.
What are we doing for full-time work right now? Are you bartending? Are you?
So I work on the pedal taverns downtown, actually. So I've been doing that for going on like 8 years at this point. And it's my favorite job I've ever had. I get to entertain people all day long. So like it's like a comedy routine meets like dancing performance, like just like entertainment to the max, dude. And I get to throw, you know, anywhere between like 3 to 5 separate parties per day, you know, depending on how many rides I do. But it's fucking awesome. If you're ever in Nashville, dude, I'll get you out on one.
I mean,
it's awesome.
Good cardio.
Well, luckily I don't have to pedal. I'm like driving, so I've got a brake and a gas pedal and I'm DJing, and I've got a lot going on while I'm doing it. So like if I had to pedal, dude, it would not be a good experience.
I mean, I would imagine the tip money would be insane down there.
It is if you're good, and if you just like anything, you know, if you know how to do it, because the competition is stiff. You know, like there's a lot of different things to see and do, and a lot of different personalities down there. But you know, I've been doing it for so long now that like I've honed in on it, and I've gotten it down to where like I really only have to work. You know, I mean, this summer I really only worked like 2 days a week on that, and my other 5 were working on my music shit, which is just fucking awesome.
I mean,
yeah, it helped me so much to have that time, because if I didn't, dude, I've learned so much doing this on my own. Yeah, like so much. Like I can't even believe how little I knew. That's how much I've learned. And it, luckily for me, like I'm able to have a job that allows me flexibility, and like most people are musicians, so like you know, people that work these jobs, like the owners and the bosses, and you know, they know that like we are not like beholden to them. Like you are our vehicle that allows us to do our passion, to eventually make it our living. And it's most owners that are working down here, bar owners and things like that, they know they want to see their people succeed. They don't want to like hoard bartenders, you know. They want to like be a means to an end, you know, which is great. And it keeps my chops up, dude. Like I'm for real, like dancing on there. I'm giving it, like I'm giving it a good time. So like I keep that kind of like, I like it so much because I keep that entertainment flowing, even if I'm not playing a lot of shows. Like when I do start playing more shows, it's just going to be an easy transition where it's not like I gotta, you know, knock the dust off, you know, too much.
Yeah,
I haven't played in, you know, years. You know,
do you feel like you have like a better tune of like what people are kind of into, or like what's like kind of going on in the scene, since you're kind of out and about and like?
Yes, absolutely, dude. I most I'm surrounded by are like Gen Z women. Yeah. So, and they're like the tastemakers, like for real. They decide what goes and what doesn't, right? Because you know, if the girls like it, the guys are gonna like it. So that's how, you know, artists like Zach Bryan blow up, and just everybody loves them, and more than one, but everybody loves them because, you know, if you can tap into that, you're tapping into something that can be very beneficial for your career. So I pay attention, man. I talk to these people, and I'll play my music for them on the bike if they ask. And just from performing for so long and being on stage for so many years, like I can always tell when an audience is giving me like a genuine reaction. Yeah. And I'm telling you, dude, every fucking time I play one of my songs for these kids, it is a genuine reaction, and they fucking love it. And I know that it's like, you know, it's a cool experience for them. Like, oh, we're in Nashville, and this guy that's working here does music and this and that. But like most of the time when the song is done, I'll have somebody tell me like, dude, I'm so glad that didn't suck and it was as good as it was, because otherwise this would have been fucking awkward. Right. You know?
How often do you pull out any audition stuff? Just for kicks? Rarely.
I mean, like at work, never.
Never.
Somebody requests it, because I've had quite a few people that recognize me from the band ride with me.
Amazing.
So I'll play it for them if they request it, for sure. But it's not like party. I try to, when I'm DJing out there, like I try to play songs that everybody knows from every like era.
Right.
And so everybody, no matter how old you are or where you're from, you can feel included. And the audition music, that's not really, that doesn't really do that. If you don't know it, you ain't gonna know it.
What's funny? I don't actually recall like when the band ended, because you guys did 4 albums and then an EP in 2012, I think.
Yep.
And then that was it.
Man, that was it. Yeah, I had vocal surgery in 2012.
Okay.
And it was like that week that things kind of just ended. It wasn't anything like crazy. It was just like, dude, we weren't making any money.
Yeah.
We never made any money. And like, when you do it for as long as we did it, you have to stay on the road
mm-hmm.
in order to like sustain the business, because like that was before merch, online merch stores and e-commerce and being able to like have more freedom with like how we make money. We were like reliant and beholden to touring, and it fucked my voice up, dude. It's hard to be with anybody else for that long, for that amount of time. And when you're in a band, being in a band is one of the hardest things in the world, dude. How many bands make it like the test of time? Like none. Like there's very few bands that have been together for, even from our scene. There's not. There's
Hawthorne Heights is still around. Emery's around.
Yeah, but like the vast majority of us, and same with 80s rock and all the other genres that there are those that stand the test of time. And I'm sure a lot of it has to do with the same reasons that we kind of just ended. We never like put an iron fist down on it. We always left it open.
Yeah.
For the right opportunity, but like, because we didn't want to just be like, there was no reason to be like, hey, we're done. Like, because it wasn't really like that. It was just more of a like unraveling, and just we could, people wanted to start like settling down and having kids and getting married and stuff. And the way we had our business set up and like our touring schedule, that those two things couldn't coincide.
Yeah.
And so, we kind of like matured out of it, I guess, in a way, just personally.
Yeah.
But those are like some of the best times of my life, and it was fucking awesome.
Did you guys ever get to a Sprinter, or was it always a van?
Dude, it was always a van. They didn't have Sprinters in America at that time. The only time we would ride in a Sprinter was in the UK or in Europe. They would like outfit them out like a bus, like a mini tour bus, probably much like they have them now.
Yeah.
But no, Sprinters were not a thing here. So we had a Ford E350 15 passenger that we put like 450,000 miles on, dude, and it was beat to shit, dude. The whole inside was graffitied with like Sharpie, like just drawings, and people would sign their names, and like it was cool.
Yeah.
But it was disgusting, dude. It lasted longer than it should have, probably. But dude, buses are expensive.
No, of
They're
course.
so expensive.
They're so bad now. It's like what, 20 grand a week?
Probably.
Yeah.
We never quite hit that point where we could afford a bus. We had buses in the UK because you kind of had to.
Mm-hmm.
You had to have somebody else driving you around, and Sprinters weren't really a thing, and we did really well in the UK, so we could afford it. But here, dude, we just couldn't do it. The only time we were in a tour bus in the US was half of Warped Tour in 2008. We got rid of it halfway through because the fucking AC didn't work on it, dude. So we're like in the desert, and it's got to be like 140 on this black tour bus.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, and it was just, man, it was brutal. It was, and yeah, so that was the only time we were ever on tour bus in the US, man. And
did you share it with someone, or
we manned it? We did. We shared it with a journalist from BuzzFeed who I don't know what she does now. And then we shared it with a girl that was doing something for like, I can't remember what it was called, but it was for music, like healthcare for musicians.
Oh yeah, like
Uh,
the audio, like the molds.
um, Similar to that, but
Yeah.
like all healthcare, because like musicians, we don't have healthcare.
Oh, of
Like
course.
there's no like union. There's nothing. I mean, there is in some areas, but you know, there's nobody representing us for healthcare and mental health. So
No.
she kind of like tried to pioneer bringing healthcare into like the scene. And she actually went on to, she's the VP of A&R at Republic Records, so she's killing it now.
Oh yeah.
And then we shared, I think, a few other people. I can't really remember. We were on it for such a short amount of time, so like, I don't really quite all that much. But, uh, but yeah, it was always the fan, dude. Yeah.
Yeah. So like yeah, again, like no one was beefing or anything. It was just really just the economics of that coinciding with getting older. And but you guys did a few shows in the UK, I think, right? In like 2018?
We did. That first point, like things hit a peak,
Yeah.
and they plateaued, and then they started to decline. It was just a lot of bad decisions, business wise. Like we played so fucking much. I mean, I remember there was a time we played Baltimore, Maryland, the same venue, like 4 times in 1 month. So like you can't really grow a fan base that way.
No.
You can't rely on opening for others to like steal all their fans. You need to create that need, that want for you to come back, and that's where you start building a fan base. We had it all wrong. We never had any guidance, dude.
Yeah.
We were on a record label that took advantage of everybody. Our managers were never. We had a few good managers, but like we had a bunch of them. So like we never really had stability. We just never had anybody really in our corner, and we didn't know what the fuck we were doing, dude. We were just kids, and that's kind of the music business. If you don't have somebody looking out for you, if you don't know what you're doing, and you don't have somebody looking out for you, dude, you are like chum in a water full of sharks.
Yeah, I
And we
agree.
just kind of happen to always fall into more unfortunate circumstances.
Yeah.
It never quite felt like totally satisfying. There was always a caveat. There was always a catch. And I think, there's a lot of different reasons for that, but no, it didn't have anything to do with like us beefing, but we tiffed like any other
Yeah, of course.
a group of people that are together nonstop, and we toured, you know, 3 times as much as any other band. So we were together a lot. And then to your point about the UK shows, yeah, we were approached by Slam Dunk, um, kind of out of the blue, and this was in 2018, and we had gotten together originally with the original lineup,
Hmm.
and it happened. It so happened that Ryan and Joe had to kind of last minute pull out, just due to some circumstances that were unforeseen, and we invited Kevin, who drummed in Cartel, and our buddy John Sullivan, who played bass in Jack's Mannequin,
Okay.
to come over and fill in for us. And it was awesome, dude. It was wild to come back to it. Like, dude, we went to the UK like 30 times. Like, we were over there a lot.
That's
Like, it was
nuts.
our home. It was like our home base, dude. Like Kerrang magazine, who was like kind of like the AP magazine
Yeah.
of the UK, but they were They were a weekly edition, so they came out every week. We were in them. We were in their magazine probably for like several years every week straight. So like we really we worked it out there. We loved going over there. So like going back was really awesome. Just to see all of the people that we hadn't seen in so long. But what's really crazy thinking about it now is from the time the band stopped performing in 2012 to that Slam Dunk Festival is actually less time than from that Slam Dunk Festival to now.
Yeah. I had to wonder because, like, okay, so you
That's weird.
performed and then like COVID hit. It's like, well, you know, I guess that kind of slammed the door shut for a while. But like, I think you were telling me before, like, you guys are just definitely not in the position to kind of get together for another show or two.
Yeah, dude, it's just a lot, man. It's a
Yeah.
lot to do, and if like everybody's kind of not fully into it, it's gonna fall on people that may not want to. I don't know, like do that.
Is there like a
And like
permutation like of the band, like even fill-ins that can kind of get together, or
there's not.
no?
I mean, I do live in Nashville, so I mean, I guess if we could fill it, but I don't know. It's kind of like it's a weird thing. It's how do you get back together after so long, and like, I don't even know if some of those guys play their instruments
Really?
anymore. So that would, yeah, that because I'm the only one that did music, that like continued doing music, and like, so like I don't talk to them about music. Like we kind of have our own things going on. So, I don't know. I mean, I would hope so. That'd be dope. But people have like, I mean, on some posts I've made, just like, are we going to see a 25 or 20, I guess 20 year, 25.
Oh,
I'm aging myself. Jeez.
Does that feel weird? 20 years?
Oh my God, it feels so weird.
So surreal. Super weird.
Because I remember being in that studio singing those songs at 18 years old.
Yeah.
Like just like it was yesterday, dude. It was like the coolest experience of my whole life. Going to New York and recording with John DeClario and like living out there, and like, I mean, we're living in hotels, but like, it was my first experience really away from any type of like parental supervision. So it was kind of like my college in a way.
Yeah.
And man, that was definitely one of the best experiences of my life. It was recording that first album and then being able to go back and do it with John again, with like more time and more of a direction and, more money, just because the first album did well. So your budget goes up for the next record. And Champion was fucking awesome, dude. That was such a cool record to write and record and tour on, and like, yeah, it was sick.
Yeah. Did you have any issues with Victory like the other bands did, or was it pretty positive?
I mean, it's a double-edged sword. I'm sure you've heard all the stories.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, of course.
I don't think ours is unique in any way. Maybe aside from the fact that I don't know. I mean, it holds true to what you probably have heard. I'm not going to speak illy of them because I wouldn't have any of this truly, without that opportunity. So like, right. Do I wish things could have been different? Maybe, but like, I'm glad that they're not. Yeah. I don't know. I'm happy where I am. So like, everything I've ever done has led me here. So I don't regret any of it, but it could have been better.
Yeah. I mean, they marketed the band super well. Yeah. Like you could not know what Champion was when it came out.
That was it's funny because like that our first week record sales did not reflect that at all.
Which, what a shame. I mean, I think that has to be like, if you had like a compilation of like 100 albums, like that's definitely like a scene classic record.
That's so wild.
I would put it over Controversy.
Oh, really?
I would. Cool. Dude, I took an F for you, man. Like I took an F trying to write a review in my high school newspaper for that album.
What?
Dude, and they just were not having it. They're like, do it again,
Why?
Do it again. Dude, because it was like the banger of a record and they just didn't like the review. Maybe it was poorly written. Maybe it was poorly, but
dude, that's sick. I'd love to read that. Do you have that anymore?
No, it's long gone. But
yeah,
dude,
like all of our shit is from the day on the old home PCs, dude.
Dude, I defended that record to the death and took an F. I'm like, had to.
My dude. My dude.
But no, I had to ask a question about the line of, Jimmy Rickin, because I think it was like Boys Night Out did that recently, like where the vocalist is like, all right, I'll recruit different people to kind of fill out the band, so to speak, and then just go out on a couple shows.
Okay. That's a very conflicting thing for me. First of all, I fucking love Boys Night Out.
Yeah.
I got him. I'm a Detroit boy by I grew up in the Detroit music scene, and they were like part of that, you know, and like, because they were Canadian, they were right over the border. So like we got along. I didn't know them personally, but like, that Make Yourself Sick record is so good. Dude, I actually listened to it last week, which is hilarious you bring them up. I haven't thought about them in probably 15 years, but that and Trainwreck, what a great album. My buddy, who we grew up in the Detroit scene, his name is Brian Southall. He actually played drums on that
South.
record. You know Brian?
Dude, he was in the Isles and Glaciers.
Yeah. He's been all over the place, man. He tour managed Motion City Soundtrack for a bit. His first band in Detroit was called For Dire Life's Sake. And man, if you haven't heard of them ever, you should look them up. They're like this just brutal hardcore band from Michigan. And then he was in a band. I think he played drums in a band called Before I Go. But yeah, dude, he's like a legend. He's like a Detroit scene legend.
I was convinced that he was like the one holdout to get that Isles and Glaciers back together. Like, he would not do it.
I mean, maybe.
I get it. I get it. Like,
I don't really know much about that, and I haven't spoken to him in a long time. The last time I saw him was I think it might have been at that Slam Dunk that we were just talking about.
Yeah, I know he was playing guitar for All Time Low, just in the background at one point.
Was he really?
That's I think awesome. So. Yeah, man.
I love B-South, dude. That's so funny. He's awesome.
No, I had to ask though, because I feel like, we were talking Emos Not Dead cruise. That would be, I mean, I feel like that could work if you guys had a kind of a permutation of the band, whether it's like you and another person and some other hired guns.
It's like I said, like before I got on my tangent, it's conflicting, man, because like I would feel disloyal.
Yeah.
And I don't really like that feeling. But I don't necessarily know, and I can pretty much just like sum it up. Like, I don't think the band as it was we won't ever see that again.
Yeah.
But it's not really about us, right? It's about the fans. So that's where I'm conflicted. Am I guilty? If the fans wanted it, dude, I would do it.
Yeah.
And would my loyalty to you and the people that want it outweigh the disloyal feeling that I would have by essentially, for lack of a better explanation, hiring a different band?
Yeah.
Because so much of like what made us great was at like live, because we played so fucking much, dude. Like, and it had a feeling to it, and I've done like emo nights in Nashville where like I've sang audition songs, and it never felt right. It felt weak.
That's what it is.
It felt weak, dude. It didn't feel right.
That's really important though. That's an important aspect to really lean into.
Important. It's super important because like, the bass tone that we had was like different. It was different than we were doing different things. Like, so like, it's hard to mimic that, it's not like learn these songs and like go play them. It's like the parts were like defined. So like, yeah. I remember I played Approach the Bench with a band, and it just felt bad. It just felt weird. It didn't feel right, But I will say, shows we did in England, and then we did Riot Fest, like those felt great. Those felt fucking awesome. So I don't know, man. I'm conflicted. Like, it's almost like I'm waiting. I don't know, man. I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know.
So basically, you're saying like if the money makes sense to get the other guys.
It's not even about the money, dude. For me, it's.
Well,
I mean,
but people.
It is to an extent.
Yeah.
It needs to happen.
Right.
But like, that's not really what's making my decision. It's not that. I know that would be a factor.
Right.
That's a thing, obviously. But would it be worth it? I mean, yeah, money may be involved, but it does have to be worth it. Like, I wouldn't be able to do something and like lose money on it.
Oh, of course. No.
Not make as much as I would being home. So, but that would be hard to do. That's hard, dude.
That's
making money on shows is hard, and making money on festivals is fucking impossible. So, like, what do? Do you set up a tour? Okay, well, we don't have a booking agent, so I'd have to find a booking agent just specifically for that. Also, you got to remember, I'm working on my own music.
Oh yeah.
So that's priority number one. In my life right now, there's so much that I didn't know about this industry that I'm learning, and to kind of stray away from that to like rebuild something is not really something I'm interested in. But again, if the fans wanted it, dude, and there was a demand for it, then it'd be hard to say no. But other than that, yeah.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, because I think like again, this Emo's Not Dead cruise, super tight. Like everyone there is like in their early to mid 30s, even early 40s.
I would love to do that,
dude. It's basically Warped Tour on sea.
Because I mean, yeah, that would be super dope. Because there's like there would be ways to do that without being like the audition. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
There would be like I would definitely do it. That would be so much fun.
It is a lot of fun.
For sure, dude. But dude, my wife's never been on a cruise, man. That would be like her dream come true.
My wife was in a very similar situation. Like she had never been to a Warped Tour because she was in the Bay Area. It just never went. And then we do this cruise this year, and she's like, "Whoa!" Like, it was like Mayday Parade was on it. Yellow Card. So like she got a bit of a taste for it. So.
It's cool.
We might run it back. We might do Warped Tour in DC just to kind of give her that like. So, yeah,
cool.
I mean, who knows what's gonna happen? 2025 is gonna be a crazy year. I can tell you that much.
It's pretty wild, dude. That this emo resurgence. Like I feel like the genre is bigger than it was when we were doing it.
It's just different. I mean, I feel like it kind of ebbs and flows. Like Hawthorne Heights just sold out 2 shows in Oregon back to back.
Where
at? Eugene and Portland.
Which venues?
The Wow Hall and oh my gosh, Star Theater.
Okay.
So they're like
they're like doing it. They're back at it.
They're doing big things. I mean, Emery's headlining venues. I mean, they're
wow.
Yeah. This next cruise has Emery on it. They got Hawthorne Heights. It's a great lineup.
When are they?
The cruise takes off in February.
Cool. Is it every February?
Yeah, typically. Yeah, this is the 3rd year, so it's definitely. I mean, it sold out in like less than a day. Yeah,
man, it's because we have jobs now, so like we can do shit like
disposable.
that.
I mean, disposable income. I mean, or in my case, tax returns. Just kind of just.
Right, we'll wait for
pretty much.
Time. Right.
Nothing is broken
nice.
yet, so we just if something breaks like a car repair, then fair enough. But no, I mean it's worth it though. I mean the Use is on this year. Who else? State Champs.
Cool.
Just a vibe. But you said you were in Nashville 10 years now.
Yeah, man.
That's crazy. So
I know.
So you went from Detroit to Nashville about 10 years ago. That's starting over.
Yeah, dude, I did. I not only started over in Nashville, but I actually hit a hard reset while living here. I got sober 7 years ago.
Right.
And most of what I had known and built was kind of like on the back of alcohol.
Yeah.
So I made the like executive decision to pretty much excommunicate myself from everybody that I had really ever known in Nashville to get myself better. And that was fucking hard, man.
Yeah, I can imagine.
You know, because I had built a nice year in some really good rooms a lot of the time. But, you know, I realized after I quit drinking that most of those people were not necessarily my friends or even really like true colleagues. They were drinking buddies.
Yeah.
You know? And there's a difference between someone who you network with to further your career in a mutually beneficial way. And that's different than somebody who you're going to just be seen by or with. And so when I made the decision to quit drinking, I also made that decision, and I have been slowly, and then COVID hit. So that kind of was a hard reset on everything, which kind of like exacerbated my my purge of people. But oddly enough, that's when I met my wife. So,
okay, you met your wife during COVID.
Yeah, we met like 3 weeks in, man.
Damn.
Yeah, dude. When when COVID first hit, I was living in a 1-bedroom apartment in Nashville. I was with my German Shepherd, and you know, COVID, they shut everything down, and this was like March 16th, 2020, and I was getting word that they you know, remember wild like shit was panicked, and they were threatening to shut down the highway between Nashville and like one of the highways to get home.
Oh no.
So like immediately, like that moment, I'm not kidding, when I even caught wind of that, I was like, fuck this. And I drove home like immediately, because like, you know, I didn't want to get stuck here and like by myself with no family or nothing, like quarantine, have to stay inside by myself. Fuck that, dude.
No.
So I drove home, and like 2 weeks into that, we met on Hinge.
Yo.
And we started chatting, dude, and I promptly, as soon as we started chatting, I just, you know, when you meet, you know,
yeah, of course.
When you meet that person, you're like, oh, this is how this is supposed to go.
Yeah.
Okay. So I promptly deleted the app. She noticed that and liked that. So we chatted for like 2 weeks, and then we snuck off to a public park in Detroit because, you know, it was the only thing open. And we did that for like 3 months, man, every day almost.
Nice.
And we FaceTimed every night, and we just, you know, we fell in love. And in that year in July, I was like, yo, I gotta go home, because like I was still paying rent on my apartment. Like, I gotta go home. Like I can't be here. Like, she's like, well, I'm coming with you. And I'm like, all right, sweet.
Okay.
I was like, you know, you want to like check a good idea, like come check it out for, you know, a week or two, and, you know, see if you like it. And she's like, no, dude, I'm coming forever. And I'm like, all right, cool. I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go. So we moved to Nashville, or she moved to Nashville. She'd never even been here before. And we quarantined for like 8 months. And I like to say we got 10 years of bullshit out of the way in about 8 months.
Yeah.
Because we were just stuck, you know. And then we got married in September of 2021. So, dude, it's been fucking awesome.
I feel like
she's like my best friend, dude. She's fucking great, dude. And she allows me. She's like in my corner always. She like has my back to a fault almost.
which is a great problem to have.
Yeah, right, dude. She would go to the ends of the earth for me, which is, I don't know, you know, aside from my parents, you know, I've never felt that from another person. But like, you know, your parents are obligated, you know, essentially to provide that.
Yeah, I mean, so you basically like car rided for 8 months then.
Yeah.
Like that real, like you take a big 8-10 hour trip with someone. It's like you kind of get to know someone. Now it's like, okay, you're just doing it in a van or an apartment.
You learn if you travel well with somebody.
Yeah.
You know.
Because I feel like it's a big red flag. It's like, oh boy.
Yeah, dude. No, it just, things have a funny way of working out.
Oh yeah.
And that always gives me hope for like my music, because I'm not in the position that I was with all the audition stuff.
Yeah, of course.
But
which is okay.
Right. And that doesn't mean that it can't be that again.
Yeah, of course.
But it would be different, which is expected. And it doesn't mean that it can't be not only bigger but better.
Of course.
And different. And so it just gives me hope that like I still have like something keeps drawing me to it. I can't, how easy it would be to just like, well, I guess it's not easy for me, but it should seem easy to like walk away from this shit. Like it doesn't make any money. It's a lot of time and effort and emotional fucking, fuckery, for lack of a better term.
You just have the itch.
But yeah, dude, it's just something in me just won't let me give it up, and I still have that same drive. I have like more passion and I have way more drive than I ever did in my band.
And maybe it's just fun. Like
it is fun, dude.
Yeah.
Like, cause I'm like figuring it out as I go for myself, and I'm not relying on anybody to do anything for me. And that there's a solace in that because, music is almost like, dude, it can pop off at any time.
Oh yeah.
And we have no control over that. So the more prepared that I can be and the more that I know, if something were to happen, I just want to be prepared for that and not have to rely on other people, because the more you rely on other people, the more you have to give away.
Yeah.
And I don't want to give anything away. I already gave it all away. I don't want to do that again.
I feel like the idea of like starting over and like being okay with it is kind of a consistent rhythm with you, and like whether it's moving to Nashville, quitting drinking or
wow, I've never thought of that.
Yeah. It's would you say like at this point in your life, like maybe that's the one lesson you would maybe impart into someone younger, or?
I mean, I guess so, dude. Wow, You just blew my mind. You really did. Starting over and being okay with it. That sounds like an album title, my dude.
Maybe. I mean, I feel like you have an album title already. You have Better Than You
Well,
Love
I'm just
Me.
saying for like the next
then
album,
you have a few stacks then. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, a few stacks that don't come in from anywhere. I'll Venmo you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I think like just objectively looking at what you just said, it's kind of like if I were to look, if I don't know, I want to say this without sounding arrogant, but it's like brave almost.
Yeah.
There's like a brevity
of course,
to like doing that. And I've never really thought of that. Like, damn, dude, like I've started over a lot. Man, I guess we all do in our certain ways, but like I've intentionally like seen things, there's like, sometimes you got to know when to quit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that like some people are good at that and some people are not. And I think I've learned my lessons in that. And I think like knowing when to quit and maybe like that's why I'm okay with it, because like if I can see a different outcome, or if I don't like the way things are going, I think that, it's kind of like a song. Like when you're writing a song, if you're collaborating with somebody and you're co-writing and you're just beating this idea to death and you just can't get it, just move on.
Yeah.
Just move on. Don't try to fix it. And that maybe the band kind of taught me that, don't try to hang on for the sake of hanging on. Like just let go.
Yeah.
And it'll fall where it's supposed to. But the more you try to fight against it, the harder it becomes. And we fought fucking hard, dude. I mean, we worked our fucking asses off, dude. I mean, I would argue to bet that we were probably one of the most we were probably one of the bands that probably played the most shows in that era by like a long shot.
Yeah.
I mean, it was insane. And I think that not letting go when we probably knew we should have was something that I probably learned from.
Mm-hmm.
And because I wasn't okay with letting go, like I kind of had to be further on in my life, you know, and maybe it made it easier, but yeah, I don't know. That blew my mind, man.
Yeah. I mean, even
Shit.
now it's like, I feel like you're maybe in a better headspace where you can do your music and then not have to worry about, oh gosh, dang it, I came home from tour and I'm like in the red by $1,000.
Right. Yeah. And that's a lot to do with just the way that society is now, because we have this, you
Yeah.
know, like in order for me to get an interview
Yeah.
in the day, we had to go through like our publicist at the record label. Like you weren't just reaching out to the band.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't, like there was no way to. You had to go through the record label or other, you know, middlemen. But now I can do this.
Oh yeah.
You know, I think social media is so dope because same kind of ideas where like, excuse me, in order for somebody to tell me that they enjoyed my music, they had to buy a ticket to a show, then come to the show, and then somehow, you know, find me and tell me to my face. Now, I mean, I release a song and people immediately are giving me feedback.
Great.
That's fucking awesome. Anytime I post a video, I'm getting people talking to me about it. Like, that's so cool. It's so cool. So I love that control. I love having that. We're almost like creating our own destiny at this point. And we just have to find the tools that work.
Does it feel surreal kind of marketing yourself like it through Instagram and TikTok versus MySpace back then?
Well, I don't know if I can answer that because like I didn't have anything to do with the marketing back then.
Well, but like, you know, you put yourself out there and you like, you know, you're commenting on things, you're interacting with people on MySpace or even like early Facebook or.
I didn't really do that.
No,
I was anti. That's super funny because I was anti social media as far as like putting myself out there to the public. Like I had Facebook and stuff, but that was at a time when, and I had MySpace, but that was at a time where you could decide who you let in.
Yeah.
So I used it in that sense because like, you know, up until Instagram popped off and TikTok became prevalent and maybe YouTube, there was still like a privacy. You could still have your privacy being a musician and like putting your music out and like doing music videos and interviews and the traditional way of doing it was enough. Where now it's so like I can have those parts of the internet to myself. Where now it's not like that.
No.
It's just different. So you either adapt or you die, right? So I was anti all this shit, dude, until probably like a few months before I started putting music out. And I kind of had a panic moment and I'm like, dude, what am I doing? I deserve it. These songs deserve the best chance that I can possibly give them. And whatever that means, like I better fucking do my damnedest to make something happen for this. So I've spent the last year taking a crash course in like marketing and social media and, you know, how to make merch and how to build a merch store and how to create meta pixels and build ad campaigns and just the whole fucking thing, you know, like it. But that, like, again, like I didn't want to like have a moment and lose it because I was unprepared. That would have been horrible. That would have been way worse than anything that way worse than any good that would have come my way, you know?
Yeah. Was it stressful, like, to even start the process of writing new music because of how maybe stressful it was within the band? Like,
dude, writing in the band was always awesome.
Okay.
Writing in the band was fucking fun, dude. We would just jam. That was it. We would get in the first record, we had all our shit set up in Joe's mom's basement, and every day for 3 months we jammed. And that was it. We just jammed and we wrote, and that's how we got our songs. Is we just played over and over until we had something. The second record, we holed up in a lake house in Wisconsin, and in the basement of that lake house, same thing. We just holed up and we wrote, dude. And I think we wrote that whole record in that basement. The third and fourth record were a little different. That was more so when you were you could start recording things yourself like easily on MacBooks.
Yeah.
So then we were able to kind of like, I was able to be in Detroit at home while the band would be working on music. They would send it to me, and I would like the whole third record. I think the third record, there's a whole version of that album that's demos, and then me singing into my MacBook and like doing harmonies because I didn't have a microphone. I just had my MacBook. So I'm like, I figured out how to like hook my headphones up and like sing into the MacBook microphone, and it sounds fucking awesome. Like honestly,
does it really?
They sound cool. Yeah, I did harmonies. I stacked harmonies. I did background vocals, all just singing into the laptop. it was awesome. But like as far as my writing for this project, it came pretty organically, man. Surprisingly organically. I'd gotten sober. I'd been sober for about a year, and I was trying to put myself out there writing. And I had a few people that I had like two guys that I used to work with on Music Row that I kept in touch with. And one of them led me to my producer, Sammy Mitchell, who has worked with Luke Combs. He's got like fucking tons of platinum records from this fucking song, dude. It's awesome. We met at a write, and the first write that we had was for my song's called Move Down Without You. That was the first song we wrote together. It was four of us. We got together again. We wrote another song called By the Way, which was my second to last release. And it never felt right, so Sammy and I kind of sat down and we reworked it. We changed like the whole fucking song. And then Sammy and I were like, I love working with you. So we wrote two more songs. So I had four songs that like we didn't really know what we were doing with. And one of them, it wasn't even me. The Move Down Without You wasn't even me singing on the demo. It was somebody else, one of the other writers. And when we got back from Slam Dunk Festival in 2018, I went to CMA Fest in Nashville that June and was watching Brett Eldridge and Florida Georgia Line and all these, Dirk Bentley, all these guys on stage. And I was like, dude, and this, mind you, this is 6 years after the band had stopped performing and we had just done that reunion. And I'm looking at these guys, and I'm like right up close. I'm like only a few rows back from the stage at Nissan. I was like, dude, you can fucking do that. You just did it. Like,
yeah,
you can do that, man. Like, I lost all my confidence at a certain point. And it took me like getting sober, doing those reunion shows, and then like seeing that to really like believe that I could do it. Because when I moved to Nashville, I was done with being an artist. Like, I did not want to tour. I didn't want to be an artist anymore. I didn't want to sing like that. I didn't want to tour. I just wanted to write songs. That was it. And it kind of just slowly evolved. And, I wrote a couple more songs. And, the night I got home, or the morning after the CMA Fest, I called Sammy and I was like, hey, I have this idea. I think I want to, venture out and do a project with these four songs that we have. So we immediately said, fuck yeah. Let's go. And we wrote two more songs together. And then I went home for a couple of weeks to Detroit, and in those 2 weeks, I wrote the last 6 songs for the record. And every song that I was sending him, he was like, dude, we got to use this. So now it's a 5-song EP. And I sent him another one, and he's like, well, shit, now it's a 6-song EP. He's like, he wasn't saying no to any of the songs. Sent him another, he's like, dude, like, what the fuck? And after 12 songs, he's like, I guess we're doing a full length.
Yeah.
And I was like, I guess so, dude. And we started working, and fucking 3 or 4 years later, we, through a pandemic and everything, we had the whole thing tracked week before the pandemic hit. It was the last day of tracking. Yeah. And it hit, and it took like, 3 years plus to finally finish it. So that was tough, but you know, like I said, I wouldn't be. We're always where we're supposed to be. So like,
Yeah.
I don't really question it. I just kind of work towards the goal. You know,
Right.
that's all I can do. You know.
Yeah, I mean, you get your wife to come home too. I mean, things are fine.
Right.
Yeah, no pressure.
Right.
No, I get it. I mean, yeah. I mean, so basically, you're saying you have a lot of ideas that you haven't really fleshed out yet because you've had 3 years to kind of like.
Well, I not so much ideas, just like it just took a long time for the ball to get rolling, you know. So
Yeah.
like it, but the cool part is that like I didn't lose any faith in the songs. Like it wasn't a thing where I was, you know, writing more songs, which I did. I have like 20 more songs ready to go that
Perfect.
are ready to be recorded. So like I have the whole next record and some already written, and so that was great. But times when you're writing, or like even as a band or an artist, like the old stuff starts to feel old, you
Yeah.
know. And still these songs do not feel old to me, and that's awesome. You know, I'm glad that they've had staying power. If they had staying power with me, hopefully, you know, they'll have staying power with you and whoever else, you know, is listening.
Yeah, of course. And if not, I mean, you still like them.
Yeah, right. And I
Which,
got more.
but
So,
which is like the
yeah,
most. That's the highest metric right there. Is like, do you like it? I mean,
that was the goal of writing this stuff, man. It was to
yeah.
like make something that I would want to listen to. It
Mhm.
wasn't, and maybe that's probably why I ended up really doing it, because it wasn't me trying to make like a country record.
Mhm.
That wasn't the goal. It was me writing songs and pulling different levers of my influence, and like and I always describe it as like throttling some on some songs, but they're all in there.
Yeah.
And it's just me. It's just me. It's music that I would want to listen to.
And that's how I would describe it too. Is like, you know, you're just a singer songwriter from Nashville, or you know, I don't know if it's necessarily a country ish, but like it has a southern twang to it.
Yeah, it's got. I mean, it's
It
got
just
all the
is.
country elements.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's rooted in country music for sure. But you know, what is country music these days? I mean, some consider Morgan Wallen country music, some don't.
Yeah.
Some consider Luke Bryan country music, some don't. I mean, everybody can consider like Zach Top country music, I think.
Dude,
But
he sounded so good. I went to that Lainey Wilson tour to work, and
oh, nice.
yeah, I got to check out a little bit of his set.
Bro, he's so good. He's oh, nice.
Once that's I don't know.
Damn it, Siri.
Yo. That's so funny. That's never happened before. We have a Sonos.
Oh yeah, nice. Oh, it's playing.
Oh my god, that's fun.
Sonos.
That's
stop.
so crazy.
Little free promo for Lainey.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with that.
I don't think she needs it though.
Yeah, thank God this isn't YouTube.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, instant flag. Have you thought about? Yeah. You've been working with that one producer then for pretty much the whole time, or you worked with like other producers?
Yeah. No, when he and I met, I knew that like that's who I wanted to work with. I sat down in the studio the first day, and he had and I'm in Nashville, so like it's all country guys.
Oh yeah.
And I sit down in his studio, and he's got a framed poster of Every Time I Die, and I'm like, oh no shit.
So he gets it then.
I was like, you like that band? He's like, they're my favorite band. I was like, I like you. I was like, we're gonna get along just fine. And I sit down and I go, can I smoke weed in here? And he goes, yep. And he goes, I'll like you too. So immediately we bonded.
Because I had to wonder, like, is there other people maybe in the area that you might want to like really tap in with, or like just co-write with, or you got people like Andrew Bayless, who's worked with like Austin Snell. He's in Nashville.
Oh yeah. I mean, I would love to work. I would love to get back into like working with other writers and artists. It's just one thing at a time, you know. I would love to collab with people, but I feel like I've got so much to learn still that I'm trying to figure out. I'm not trying to like overwhelm myself. I'll say that. I'm trying to grow my fan base do it in like a strategic way and not kind of like oversaturate. But that's not really to the point of your question. But I would like to collaborate with people for sure.
Yeah, of course. I mean, because it just, again, everyone lives in Nashville. I mean, I think Aaron Gillespie lives in Nashville.
Right. But a lot of those folks are harder to get a hold of than you think.
I mean, you never know, man. It all goes down in the DMs.
Yeah. True.
I mean, and what's the worst that can happen? No.
Yeah. Fair.
Yeah, I mean, has it surprised you kind of like how country has kind of evolved in a sense, like where you have like the pop country, but then you also have like the kind of alt edge that's kind of popped up in the last 4 or 5 years with like Hardy and, you know, even like Austin Snell has an alt edge to him. And
I think country music is more diverse than it's ever been, and I'm talking more to the like sonic, you know, diversity, where there are a lot more like subgenres of country music, I think, than there ever have been, with kind of just what you mentioned. You know, you've got the Zach Bryan leg of country music, and like the Dylan Dossett and Sam Barber style, Wyatt Flores, that kind of like real stuff. And then you got like the, you know, Red Clay Strays and the kind of like, you know, croony country music, like a la Elvis Presley. And then you've got like, you know, Old 60, who's like just like Southern and dirty, you know. And I think it's cool, man. And then, you know, you got me, where I'm kind of in my own lane doing my own thing. And then of course you've got the pop country artists that kind of own the radio, and there's not really any wiggle room for anybody else, because, you know, it's a business and they know how it works, and why would they mess with their formula if they're getting paid, right? So I think it's definitely a more diverse genre than it's ever been. And then, you know, obviously you've got the bluegrass and all the folk and all of that, but I think there's more subgenres in country music than probably really there's ever been.
Yeah, right. Even a band like Lakeview is doing their thing.
Right. I mean, there's room. There's 8 billion people in this world. There's room for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, music is not a competition. I had to go. My therapist had to teach me that music is not a competition. It's not. It's about community and building a fan base and servicing those people.
Yeah.
It's not about competing with other people.
Yeah, I mean, I would have the hardest time like kind of wrestling with that too, because I mean, check it out. You're on tour and then other tours are on tour at the same time. It's like fan A only has so much money to spend, and they can only be in one spot at one time, where it's like, okay, you know, you got, you know, scene band here, and then you have another band supporting a big arena tour, another, you know, just down the road, and then you have this tour at a smaller theater. Which one wins out?
That always sucked. Like,
yeah,
when you were like in the same city on the same night as like Fall Out Boy, it was just like, fuck.
Yep.
Like obviously people are gonna come, but like it's not what it would have been without that. You know, that always sucked.
Yeah. So
you know?
In a way, it's kind of a competition, because I mean, you have competition of attention and money.
Yeah, but that's different, because that's not out of your control.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do about that. How can I compete with someone? Because everybody's story is different. Everybody gets to where they are in a totally different way. So you can't really compare yourself. And, you know, we all know comparison is the thief of joy, right? So doing that, and then that breeds contempt, and that makes you angry, and then it becomes a competition because you want to beat the other guy.
Now, what I do like, have you heard about, like, it was like, I think the 1,000 fan theory, where it's like you have 1,000 people who are willing to spend like X amount per year, and then that keeps you sustainable long term.
Yeah, that's the goal. The goal is not to get signed to a fancy record deal. The goal is to build a fan base that wants to support me, so that I can provide to them more of what I do. That's the goal.
Yeah. I mean,
it doesn't and supporting me means financially, but that doesn't mean give me money. That means I'm going to offer you shit that is cool, that you'll want to partake in or purchase or whatever you, and that is the goal. And that's just hard to do, man.
Yeah.
It's
And
really
there's
hard,
no pressure though too, because like, there's no like, if it doesn't hit, then bad stuff happens. It just doesn't hit.
Right. And there's no time limit.
Yeah, of course.
There's no like, it could take me 10 years as long as I keep doing it.
Yeah. And then
something will happen.
And it's just fun. Again, you can, if you want to record something, then drop it the next week, then you can do that.
Right. There's no rules. There's no rules anymore, which is cool. Which is creative as we want to be, which is dope.
So with next year though, are you thinking you're going to do like a full length drop or?
So I think I'm going to do the last single. I plan on doing like a full kind of like promotional push as the full length, record. I have CDs printed that are like super cool.
Mm-hmm.
They have like a lyric sheet in there. It's like old school.
Oh yeah.
They've got album artwork. It's the it's got a thank you section in it, and so I'll be having that. The goal is to have vinyl by then as well, which would be fantastic. It's just upfront costs of starting a business are
astronomical,
are incredibly high. So I'm putting together a business plan as we speak to look for funding through an investor,
mm-hmm.
which there's a lot of them out there. It's just you got to kind of find the right one that works for you, and that way, I can make moves that will actually, like right now, what I'm doing with just like my income is like I'm testing things, like I'm seeing how things work,
mm-hmm.
and so I can bring that data to somebody else and go, hey, look, I know what the fuck I'm talking about. I know why this is happening and how to do it more. I just need your money.
Yeah.
Because I need to scale these things. Here's how much I need. Here's what I'm going to do with it. And here's how you're going to get it back.
Absolutely.
And I know how to lay those things out. So that's like my current project is working on proper funding so I can then take it to either like a marketing agency who knows what to do without a learning curve, or I can just do it myself with the proven, case study of my stuff that I've tested.
I mean, numbers don't lie.
They don't lie, and correlation doesn't lie either. When you cross-reference things and it shows exactly on both graphs. That's what you want, and it's not necessarily about like it's not about like your monthly listeners on Spotify. It's a lot deeper than that. There's a lot more metrics that are less vanity and more telling of like how you're doing actually. That
makes sense. But dude, 2025 is gonna be a fun time. I mean, you got new music on the way. You get like regional stuff you maybe are doing like around the Nashville area or.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I actually had a meeting today with about that very topic about playing live, and the goal for next year is to hit the road, man. And I played some shows last weekend; they were cool.
Yeah,
I'm looking to do more of that. That's the goal.
Yeah, I mean
the biggest.
And I mean, I would assume like your wife is fine with you just taking off for a few weeks at a time. I
mean, I don't know if she's fine with it,
or we'll see.
She understands. She's fine. It's just it's gonna suck being away from her for so long. It's gonna be weird. And it's definitely gonna be weird for her.
Yeah.
But I'm in a place in my life where being married and being on tour both make sense together.
Yeah.
Where touring is going to look a lot different for me now. It's not, sleeping on a fucking frat house plywood floor. You know what I mean? It's the priorities are different,
So you're telling me you don't want Little Caesars pizza every day for catering?
Oh my God. Well, I am a Detroit boy, and that is a Detroit pizza. So I kind of think I have to say that I'd be okay with that. But no, I don't want that. No.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I feel like your standards have to go up as you get older. I mean, it's you did your time.
Right.
You've had enough spaghetti to.
I've had enough Bud Lights for a fucking lifetime.
Yeah. Man, okay, so for people who are kind of wanted to tap into what you're doing, I mean, check you out on socials. I mean, you're pretty easy to find. Merch store is pretty readily accessible.
Yeah,
with
there's
in stock.
I've got. Oh yeah. I've got. I had some shirts that I sold out of. I had a whole bunch of shit from the road last weekend.
Good.
And I've sold out of two. I've got a bunch of hats on the website. Two of the designs are sold out, but yeah, I mean, check them out. They're cool.
I mean,
and they're trucker hats with my logo on it.
I love that things are not available right now. That's great.
Yeah, right.
Because that means
shit out every day.
Means things are doing well.
Yeah, and it's just and then trying to figure out why they're doing well.
Yeah,
like knowing what you're doing, but then seeing what aspects of it are serving that. So the goal is to monetize, man. I want to make a living,
dude.
I want to be immersed in creativity.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, like you're making enough money doing what you're doing right now, and then you have time on your side.
That is very true.
It's just like you have. Yeah, I think time as a commodity is more of a bigger deal as you get older, which is crazy to think about. Like I never thought that would be the case.
Right.
Yeah, which is crazy because I mean we've been trying to do this for a while, and like it's just the time, whatever reason, East Coast, West Coast. I mean, that's a whole different thing too, I guess.
Yeah, time is weird, man. My wife and I, we always joke. We've got this bird feeder that is attached to our front deck, and it's like right outside our window, like where we sit in our living room. And I'll be looking at the birds, dude, and I'll be like, time does not exist, because watching this fucking bird peck around, it's going at like supersonic speeds. Like time is different for them than it is for us. It doesn't exist, man. It's fucking weird. And then you look up and it's a month later. Like, wait, what? What is happening?
Oh man, dude. I think we vibed pretty hard, man. It's been like an hour.
All right.
Which, surprise.
Nicely done.
Yeah. It's what, like 9:30? 9:30 in Nashville right now?
8:30.
8:30. Oh, thank God.
Yeah, my friend.
Yeah, I felt super. I was like, I'm like pushing you to like 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, and like.
Oh, you're good, man. Yeah, it's all good. Don't worry.
Wife in the background, like, dude, hurry up! Like, this is getting old.
Yeah, the Lions game's on, dude. It's all good.
But dude,
I'm going right now.
Anything else that you kind of want to drop before we kind of call it a day?
I mean, to anybody that's made it this far, thank you.
Oh yeah.
I just can't believe that I'm doing it again, and I'm just super grateful that I had the opportunity, and I'm gonna do my fucking very best to serve it, justice.
Oh, dude, for sure. It's gonna be great, man. I'm looking forward to it.
We'll see, man. I'm just working toward, all I can do is keep going, and keep learning and working and doing the damn thing, dude.